The global pandemic has millions of Americans getting ready to cast their vote at the mailbox instead of the ballot box, but President Donald Trump is setting up a fight against the post office. He is threatening to withhold money, and the Postal Service is warning it may not be able to deliver those ballots on time. CBC's Stephen D'Souza is following these developments. Stephen, joining me now. Trump's attack on mail-in balloting really peaked this week. Take us through what he said that caused so much controversy.
That's right. As you mentioned, a number of states are turning to mail-in balloting because of the pandemic, and the president has really been attacking mail-in balloting, saying that it's rife for massive fraud and foreign interference. All of this, of course, without evidence, but those attacks took on a new dimension this week when he was giving an interview to Fox Business News, and he flat out said that he didn't want to approve new funding, including $3.5 billion for the post office, because that money would be used by the post office to handle all of that mail-in balloting that was coming in. And he did later walk back those comments slightly, but critics and Democrats are saying that the president is guilty of saying the quiet part out loud, and that his intent is clear, that he wants to cast doubt on the system and interfere with the ability of the post office to do its work when it comes to election time. And all of this comes as experts are saying that his allegations and claims of fraud really have no basis of evidence in the entire history of mail-in balloting in the U.S. I spoke with one of those experts. Take a listen to what he had to say.
We have not seen large-scale fraud throughout our history of mail-in and absentee balloting in the United States, a history which goes back to the American Civil War. And the reason we don't see large-scale fraud is that we check every ballot and match it up to the voter signature on a voter registration card or the motor vehicles record. And so it's very hard to commit massive fraud.
What about the cuts to the Postal Service? What are the fears there when it comes to this election?
Well, that's the other dimension to this, and that's why that funding and Trump's comments towards it became such an issue, because there are concerns that the Postmaster General, who is a Trump appointee, has been overseeing massive cuts, loss of equipment, loss of manpower at the Postal Service, which has led to delays in delivering the mail right now. So imagine on Election Day and leading up to Election Day, when there's up to 10 times the amount of mail is what the Post Office is anticipating, all of that coming, and the Post Office is warning 46 states that ballots may not reach them in time because of these delays and because of these cutbacks. And so there is a great fear that tens of millions of voters won't have their vote counted because of these issues with the Post Office, and that it won't be fraud, it won't be foreign interference, but it will be simply ordinary dysfunction in the Post Office that could lead to all of these votes not being counted, and that the concern is that the president himself is actively trying to create that dysfunction within the White House. The Postmaster General had some people protesting in front of his house today, and the real fear is that here in the U.S., November 3rd may be Election Day, but we may not actually get the results because so many ballots may still be in transit or may not be counted because of problems with the Post Office.
All right. Stephen, thank you. CBC's Stephen D'Souza in New York.